This is Turner Mining Live, where we give you a behind-the-scenes look at how we're innovating to change the game and grow a business in an ancient but still booming industry.
What's up, guys? Keaton Turner here. This is episode 3 of the Turner Mining Live podcast. To my right this time, I've got the guy that keeps me out of trouble, Thomas Hahn.
I try.
Our COO. And to my left, I've got the legendary, what I called you earlier, the heavy equipment calendar model, Connor Holmen, from owner of In Depth Excavating. So welcome, Connor.
Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you. It's been a couple years of you and I DMing back and forth. Let's go back to the beginning, because I think I'm trying to remember. I was at my old gig, so it's been at least 3 years now.
3 years, I think.
And I had just started, from what I can remember, and you guys might hear some background noise. We got people in the office, so if they get rowdy, Tracy, you'll have to tell them to be quiet. But I just started, taking, when I'd go on site visits for my uncle's company, I would take pictures.
Yeah.
Equipment, post them on Instagram, and kind of write a story about them. And I think that's how we first connected.
I think, yeah. And it was one of your probably first followers that kind of interacted with everything. I remember all those posts, and I don't know how many times I DM'd you asking questions or this and that. But
so how did you, when you got, because I think it was right about the same time you started, right?
Yeah, I was started just before that, probably a year before that, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it was relatively close to the same time.
So how long have you been doing in-depth excavating now?
4 years this month.
Really?
Yep.
That's
4 years
wild.
in January.
That's wild.
It's gone by so fast. It feels like yesterday.
So I remember, this is a kind of a funny side story, and I don't remember all the specifics, but the first couple times you DM me, because I had posted a couple things about, like, how I thought about bidding and estimating and hourly things. And I remember you had a couple jobs that were coming up, and you were like, "Hey,
yeah,
how do you think about this and that?" And I don't know. I remember us sending some messages back and forth, and then I posted about it.
Yep.
And I think some people back in my previous life thought I was giving away some secrets. About, and it was all fantasy pricing.
Yeah.
It was all a make-believe scenario, but it was honestly, this business is not super hard to go figure out costs,
right?
Figure out production, figure out your cost per hour, cost per ton, whatever. And so I gave a little glimpse into that, and it ruffled some feathers, and I think some people really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Young people that are in the business that are trying to do this really enjoyed it. How do you think about giving away secrets when it comes to, whether it's hiring people, leading, managing people, bidding work, estimating, all that?
I kind of the same thing you said. I don't think there's anything to hide. I don't think anything's a secret in this industry. I think it's all the way you go towards, how you approach whatever you're trying to do. You can find a way that maybe works better than the standard, but I think there's so many different options for so many different things in this industry. I don't think anything's really a secret.
I think that, when we talk about sharing, and one of the reasons why we call this Turner Mining Live, we want to give people a live look into what's really going on.
Absolutely.
I think when we talk about sharing, especially our stuff, the more open, honest, and real we can be.
Yep.
Short of, hey, this is our contract price, this location,
Yeah.
whatever. But I think just being real and honest and raw, I think it just attracts more people to the brand.
Absolutely.
I think it gets your own people hype. I think it gets your clients like, wow, these guys, if they're this transparent with people that they're not working for, how are they going to treat us when they are working for us?
Right.
Yep.
And so, it was really, I think some of this, I don't want to get myself in trouble because I don't know who listens to this, but when I think back to what I used to do, one of the biggest blow-ups, me and some of my family members had back in the day was over sharing and over secrets. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know if it's a generational thing or what. And my dad's a super private guy, super successful, awesome dude, great role model. He doesn't talk about feelings. He doesn't share things. He doesn't want to. He doesn't walk around wearing logo stuff for his company. He's just not that type of guy. I think it's really interesting to look at the new generation of people doing stuff like podcasts and posting online versus the old. We've got one of our old guys, Albert, here, who was employee number one.
Yep. Connor met Albert.
You did get to meet Albert.
Yeah.
Albert doesn't want you to know anything about him and what he's doing. He just wants you to shut up and get to work. And so I don't know. For me, again, that I'm not into secrets. I just think it's funny, the generational thing.
There's a huge gap between, you could say, mindsets of the older generation and the younger generation coming in on that topic itself, just being private and secretive or not.
How old are you?
26.
26. So you started
Wild.
4 years ago. 22. I know. He's
Wild.
literally a baby. He's younger than he was when I started.
Yeah.
So you started 4 years ago. I get so many DMs of kids that are, 17, 18 years old. They're coming to the end of high school. They're like, man, I got to go get my life figured out. I want to go be in the dirt life. I want to start a dirt business, or maybe it's a landscaping business or whatever. I want to go start a business. Yeah. They look at what we've done here and they're like, I want the recipe. How do I do it? How do I grow it? How do I scale it? When you look back to when you started 40 years ago, this is a grind, right? Yes. And I look at I see everything you post. I watch you probably as closer than anybody. Tell everyone that's 18 years old out there, just a snapshot of what a day looks like in the life of Connor Holmen, because it is a grind.
It is. And it's, for me, myself, like we talked about earlier, I don't do much of the bidding, billing, accounting work. That's all taken care of by my dad. So for me, I'm in the field. I'm on every job, multiple jobs, sometimes each day, moving equipment, fueling equipment, greasing equipment, loading stuff up, picking up material. It's just trying to schedule and plan and make sure you have all your bases covered for every day when we're bouncing from job to job that are, some are 2 hours away, some are, other side of the state. It's just trying to be prepared and set up so tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, you have everything in line. And it can be 8, 9 o'clock at night and you're like, oh, I forgot that. So now we're going to have to go to the supplier in the morning and get this. And it's
you never really clock out.
You don't stop. And like I said, I don't even take care of the office work side of the business.
Yeah.
So just the managing, keeping things rolling, keeping jobs moving, keeping clients happy from just the field perspective is a nonstop thing. And it takes a lot to just stay ahead of the whole game.
Yeah. When you lay in bed at night, because I still do this, and I for sure did this in the early days, but when you lay in bed at night, the first thing you do when you lay down, your mind starts running.
It never stops.
All the things that you either wanted to get done that day and didn't, just randomly thought of at 11 p.m. at night for some crazy reason, and now you got to go, or the things that are coming up tomorrow. It's different, and I thought about the family business when I was in it like it was mine anyway, because I just kind of did. I always just kind of thought I would just fall into that and be there forever, and so I kind of did a little bit of that when I worked there. Then when it's your own thing and your own money, and when it's your baby, it never stops. It's a totally different ball game. Mm-hmm.
It's your full responsibility.
Yeah. Someplace I want to go, and again, some of this we might get too touchy, and we will have to edit it out, whatever. I think it's really interesting when you look at starting at 22, and people working for a 22-year-old.
Yep.
Were they all guys your age or younger? Were they older guys? How does that work?
Guys my age.
Yeah.
People I knew, and then I had a mixture of guys up to 40 years old.
How do you manage people that? Because a lot of them were probably like your boys, right? Like that.
Yeah,
kids
there
you
was a
grew up
handful
with.
of them. Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't all work out.
No, actually, Very few.
How do you deal with that?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You have to really learn to separate, just like working with family, friendships and work. Family and work. There's work, and then there's your personal life.
Yeah.
And bringing that mixture of friends and friendships into business can create a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big things we worked through the first couple of years was how do you separate your friendship and your work environment?
Yeah.
And that was the toughest thing we had.
I think most small businesses deal with that.
Yeah, I think so.
You hire who you know.
Yep.
You hire people that you're comfortable with and you feel comfortable trusting. I think trust is the big thing. I think a lot of companies, especially small companies, let's call it less than 20 employees, it's like, well, I know these 10 guys in my mind, I can trust them, right? They're going to come on board. They're going to do a good job. They're going to meet all the job requirements. And it just doesn't work out that way.
No.
You know, it's hard enough to find people that can just do the job and get it done the right way and then build up trust over the years. When you bring people on, you have this preconceived notion that, you know, oh, they're going to fit this role.
Right.
When they don't fit the role, then how do you handle the awkwardness of, hey,
That's-
man, you suck at the role. I love you as a brother, you know.
But it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest issues. And then, you know, we had on the same spectrum other guys that were, you know, 30, 40 years old and never worked this industry before. And I don't think they wanted to take me very seriously either.
Yeah.
Because
As a
I'm 22 years old.
Yeah.
And
Until for me, I lived through the same thing because when I got out of college, I was the college kid, right?
Yeah.
That, you know, I really tried not to be the college kid. You know, I tried to get the boots scuffed up, and go on site, and I run my hard hat through the dirt to look like I've been doing it forever. But you're still the college kid.
Yeah.
And back then, I was like the only college kid. We've got several college kids now, but you know, it's wild when you're the young guy and you haven't proved anything yet, and you're full of energy and you're going to outwork everybody and you know more. It's a wild. I did it with the family thing for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do it with my dad. I'm super hard-headed. These two people know. We've been in meetings all day. They know how hard-headed I am. My dad's the same way. His side of the family's the same way. There's a lot of people that are here in our office that are the same way. How in the world do you and your dad work together? And he manages what I would consider the most, maybe not the most critical, but the back office stuff. If you don't get it right, the rest of the business doesn't work.
what he does, we wouldn't be able to operate his business without that.
How do you guys work together and not kill each other?
I think he wants to kill me more than I want to kill him.
Gosh, dang.
But it's been very great. I've been very fortunate to be able to work with my best friend every day. But it's the same thing is sometimes, you know, you got to separate the family aspect from business.
And you guys have figured out how to do that?
I think we're still learning. We've got a very good grip on it.
Yeah.
But just like anything else, you know, he's like, I got to treat you like any other general contractor would.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the man on site and you're the, you know, project foreman or whatever it may be, you're not getting any special treatment just because, you know, you're my son.
Yep.
So he's like, that's what really you need to understand. And it's like, again, it's the flip side of it's my dad. And,
Yeah.
you know, we always talk every day. We talk on the phone, this and that. And separation of that too, it was a lot more for me, I think, to understand and get a concept of and grasp on. But overall, it's been working very well. I mean, we usually see each other maybe once or twice a week at most.
Yeah.
I'm in the field. He'll stop out into the jobs every once in a while, and he kind of just runs everything, and we do it all through phone calls and emails. And we get each other very well, and we've been, you know, I've been around him, and he's been doing this for 20-some years. So I've worked for a lot of different companies and kind of just shadowed him since I've been, you know, interested in the industry.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, I think, helped make us be able to deal with each other.
Well, it's got to be rare. I mean, you know, family is and I love family.
Yeah.
I love my family to death. Family just in general, when you look at people and people's families, it's not always an easy thing, right? Everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got siblings.
Yep.
But, family's a tough thing.
Yeah.
When you throw in a tough thing in family versus a tough thing in business, because the business that we're in, it is a ball-busting business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is amazing. I think it's a super rare thing, especially for you guys to work as closely. It's not like it's some legacy company that you're stepping into and taking over as the. It is crazy that you guys can do what you've done.
And
it's wild.
On top of that, I mean, you speak of family, my brother's worked for me. It wasn't his thing.
Is he older than you?
He's younger.
Younger?
Yep. So he worked for me in the summers between college. He did phenomenal job, just wasn't his avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he worked for me for a summer. My sister's worked for me for 3 years. She's younger than me. She works for me in the summers between college break as well. And she loves it.
That is wild. Well, I think, and again, I know you through DMs and texts and a couple emails and stuff like that. To me, the fact that your dad can work for you and not kill you, your brother and sister can work for you and you not kill them.
Yep.
Dude, I think to me, it just points to what kind of guy you really are.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it, because if you were slimy, if you were, sketchy, flaky, if you were a little bit not an awesome guy, it would have already not worked.
Yeah.
I just truly believe that. It's too hard. I know what we do here, and none of us are family. We kind of act like a family. We're adopted family. We're a big happy team. We almost kill each other every single day. Like it. I can't imagine having someone who I'm supposed to love, and they're as opinionated, and maybe your family's not, but if my brother were in here, there would be fistfights.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And he's bigger than me, but I could take him. So I got to commend you, bro. It's
I appreciate it.
It's wild to see, and I didn't know that your siblings worked for you, but I remember, from our messages early on about your dad, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's
really
been
cool.
Very blessed. I mean, it's worked out very well.
I'm sure anyone in this space makes a ton of decisions every single day. Your phone probably is on the charger and off the charger several times a day. Mine's on the charger, or just was. So when you make that many decisions, a lot of them are wrong. You make bad decisions all the time.
Yep.
These guys know. I make decisions every day. I've made several today that are the wrong decision. I made a decision yesterday. I sent a proposal out, and it had some drop shadows on one of the pictures. And Tracy's giving me the evil eye. I'm not allowed to do that.
It was bad. It was bad, Connor.
It was a mistake. What's your biggest failed decision? What's your biggest failure in? I don't know. I would say 2019, just because we came out of the year. But what's your biggest failure, biggest flawed decision that you've made so far as a young business owner?
I think we've had a few jobs not go as planned.
If you've only had a few, you're doing way better than us.
As I say,
We've had more than a few. There's a few
Jeez.
that stick out, and I think the one that didn't go, at all how it was planned was poor decision making, but planning.
Does that decision making start in the bidding phase?
I don't
in
think
the
it was
planning.
I think it was more execution of the work that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I planned it out properly. I don't think I went at it as full force as I should have. I had a thought in my mind that this is how this project was going to go, and it didn't at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost some money on it, and it definitely went upside down.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where it kind of flipped for me. And I still learn every day, but decisions like that where you learn from something of that, volume of I'd say failure.
Yeah. Well, I think it becomes super real when get done with the project and you look back and you're like, wait a second, it cost me how much money
Yeah.
to go get my balls busted in every day
Yes.
to go do that work?
Yep.
It's not that we didn't make money. It's that it cost,
It cost
you
us
money.
money. Yeah, absolutely.
And we just came off of a year. 2018 was a kind of a banner year. It was our first year in business, first real year in business, and it was awesome. We hit every mark. We did things that I kind of never thought we'd do as a business. 2019, tremendous growth.
yeah.
We learned every lesson that I think you can learn in 12 months.
Yeah.
And maybe even more lessons than you're actually supposed to learn in 12 months. So, I mean, I'm no stranger to having a project that doesn't do well and a project that costs money. I think I know the answer. I don't think you have a choice, but how do you, our very first project, I'll never forget, it was in West Texas. It was actually South Texas. It was outside of San Antonio. We lost $30,000.
Yeah.
And it was a small $300,000 project. So, when you talk about losing money on your very first one,
Yeah.
you get done with it, and it's not easy work anyway. You get done, and you're like, man, it just cost me $30,000 to do that. I could have worked for someone for that duration of time and made $30,000 on a salary,
And been ahead.
Yeah, and been ahead. How do you find the motivation to get out of bed and go get kicked in the pants and take that and try to come back better?
For me, I love learning. And it's mostly just, it's a passion thing. This is all I want to do. I love what I do. I love, all the different projects, this and that. And if we have a job that goes bad and, there's people that are not very happy with it and this and that, I take it as a learning experience, and you can only improve from there. You don't learn unless you fail.
That's so true. I mean, I look at each one of, and I said this a little bit with Whit when he was here, because I think he would say the same thing about 2019.
Yeah.
He's learned a lot, just like we have. When you're young, I think you've got a lot of time to go learn these expensive lessons.
Yeah.
All of my lessons, if I have an inexpensive lesson, that's an awesome day.
Great day.
If it's an inexpensive problem and I can learn from it, that's phenomenal. Because most of my lessons these days, and everyone here in our office, they're all big, expensive problems.
Yeah.
I look back at 2019, I don't think I would change any of them, because I truly believe it sets us up for the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yep.
We're not going to make those mistakes again.
No.
You spend that money to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way to do it.
I wouldn't go back and change any of them. If you learn from them, that's a good takeaway.
Even the costly ones.
I would have liked to make a little more money on those,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot from those as well.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an interesting concept, because there's so many. This is like the era of the entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
It's a cool thing to do. I'm going to stick it to the man and go start my own thing. Like, it's a thing. It's pop culture talks about it. Like, rappers are talking, everyone wants to be kind of this entrepreneur, business owner. It's one thing to own a business. It's another thing to run it and live it and be in it and taste it and smell it, all the things every single day.
Yes.
What is something that you do to prevent? You're not going to prevent any anxiety, and maybe you don't deal with it, but all the stress, and you don't have any gray hair.
Nope.
You're a lot.
Not yet.
You're 4 or 5 years younger than us.
He's young.
Yeah, he's 10 years younger than you.
Exactly. He's young.
What do you do to just tolerate the stress? How do you live with the stress and anxiety that comes with operating, not just owning, because owning's part of it.
Yep.
It's your money.
Yeah.
You lose it. How do you deal with living in the business every day?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned, especially over the last year, really trying to, and you have good days, bad days. Every day there's some sort of stress in some way, shape, or form. For me, the biggest thing is when I get home from work is I don't always do it that well, but try to separate home life and work.
Yeah.
And that's hard when you work from home and
Yep.
my office is next to my
Yep.
bedroom. And
Yeah.
But just trying to go home and talk with my girlfriend, hang out, relax, just chill a little bit and not think about work for even a couple hours while we eat dinner or something like that. to really let my body kind of just relax and let my mind settle down some.
Yeah.
And some days are better than other. And I mean, you're always thinking about it. There's always something, like you said, you wake up at night and you're thinking, what are we going to do for this job, this and that. But just trying to really focus more on home life, I think, is the biggest thing that makes a difference for me.
Man, it's tough. I think this is something that I still struggle with the most. I go in waves. I get really good. I think, you hear people talk about, work-life balance.
Yeah.
To me, it's all a bunch of BS. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I think especially when you're in the type of position to own a business, let alone run a business.
Yep.
I said it before, if you want to be, in the 1%, you got to do what the other 99 are
Exactly.
going to do. And I just think that's part of it. I've got young kids. I don't want to miss their life. I want to be involved. But I don't think you can hide from all the stuff that your mind is working on when you're not at work. It's just, and I think there are people out there way smarter than I am that can talk about the psychology of, you're taking years off your life. And I believe it. There's times where I go home and I'm like, geez, that day cost me half a year at the end of my life. I truly feel that way sometimes. But, I've done little hacks. This week, it's kind of crazy. And this sounds like a small thing. I used to plug my phone into my bed and set my phone on my nightstand.
Yep.
Like I would say 90% of America.
Yep.
I started plugging it in my bathroom, down at the end of the bedroom, in the other room, away from my head, because at night I'd lay down in bed and I would be on my phone, either checking email or texting Jay Covell, our equipment guy, about equipment stuff. And
Totally.
it's a small little hack there for a while, and I need to get back to doing this. I would pull in the driveway. It'd be 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Whenever I got home, I would leave my phone in my truck. I would go inside, see the kids, see the wife, do all that for a couple hours when the kids were in bed. Go back out and get my phone.
Yep.
But then it's the next 2 to 3 hours, I'm consumed.
Nonstop.
It's nonstop.
Yeah. And then it's
different when, it's one thing to be on the payroll and you're making a salary and you've got all these stresses because you want to do a good job, right? You want to make a bonus. You want to impress your boss. You want the promotion, you want to climb the corporate ladder. There's stress and all that. And I would never diminish someone for going through that. I lived through that for a while. It's just a wild thing that I have trouble outrunning all the feelings that come with you're where the rubber meets the road as the business owner. If it fails, it's your problem.
Absolutely.
It's the people that you've hired. It's the people that you've put in place.
Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys or gals, maybe they didn't do their role successfully. But as a business owner, you're the one that's supposed to recognize they didn't do it successfully.
Right.
Replace them, put someone else in that role.
Yep.
There's just a lot that goes into that I don't think we talk about it in our industry specifically because our industry just doesn't share anything.
No.
But I think a lot of industries, people just don't talk about the stress and anxiety that's out there.
That's, I think, one of the biggest things to contend with.
When you were 22, you probably got slapped in the face when you started doing this work and you're like, oh, wow, life's different now.
This is it's a different thing now. And right from the get-go, the first job, I learned more on that job being 22 years old than I've learned anywhere else, any other job, anything else. It's a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
And you're responsible for, your employees putting food, on their table and making money to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Because the bills don't stop.
They never stop. We were in a meeting earlier and I had my phone mirrored to the TV, and so the whole room could see the TV, and I was getting notifications on my phone of bills coming into the business. I need to actually turn those notifications off.
It was awesome. Got it. Awesome.
And they're not, the thing is, they're not small bills.
No,
right?
No, the dollar amounts were coming across.
Like, it's not uncommon to get a bill that's more than most people make in a year in this industry. Mm-hmm. Everything's big. The equipment's expensive. Fuel's expensive. Moving the stuff is expensive.
Yeah. And that's something that not a lot of people understand. I mean, there's so much more cost that goes into it just to get a job set up and, the people to man the job, even from the office aspect of it. You got to pay people to bid all these jobs. and you're going to lose quite a few of them.
Yep.
And you paid them not essentially for nothing, but in
Yeah.
a sense you did.
For nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
You got
'Cause
nothing
some of
to
them
show
you didn't
for
even
it.
learn from them.
Yeah.
It's crazy you say that because you are literally reading my mind. We just sent out one yesterday. It was a pretty good size one, biggest of the year so far. 8 or 9 days into the year, we had spent, by my math, we had spent $15,000 to bid the job, not including the salary of the people working on the estimate. That's visiting the job. That's all the materials that go into it.
Yep.
15 grand. And then you add in the hours of the people. I don't even
Just
want to know
working
the
on it.
number.
Yeah.
You lose it. It's gone.
It's gone. You
Yeah,
have
it's
nothing
gone.
to show for.
Opportunity cost. So it's super real. It's just stuff that people don't think about.
No.
I didn't think about it when I was working before I started this thing. I thought, this is hard business, but you can, make a lot of money, and you do it, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I
This
didn't
is a lot different than I expected.
realize what all went into it. And so when there's been so many young kids that have DM'd me and asked that question, and I'm like, man, there is not enough room in my phone to type out the response I want to give you.
Right.
I think if you're asking someone else how to go start a business and what to do, I think you're already behind. I wouldn't have been able to breathe at the time when I started this. It was like I'm going for broke regard. I don't want to do anything else. I'm
Right.
not thinking about anything else. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm going to go ask 4 or 5 people for their opinion and thoughts and hypothesis on how to start a business and run it. It was just like, no, I'm doing it.
We had the chance and we said, yeah, let's do it. This is time to go.
That's
so
wild.
that's how it all started. I mean,
If it didn't work out for you, are you, let's say a year from now, you get burnt out, bored, tired, run out of money, whatever. Are you going to start it again? Are you going to go work for somebody? What's a backup plan?
I don't have one
I don't either.
Love
because
that.
I don't know what I do besides what I'm doing right now. I love this industry and all different, forms of it. But I don't know that I could go work for somebody else again. Obviously, worst came to worst, I absolutely pay the bills, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let something like that stop me from doing what I'm doing right now. I don't know what else I'd do.
We were at dinner, the 3 of us, last night. And Thomas said the same thing. He's like, we've already all talked about it. We're talking to Tracy. We've already all talked about it. Like if someday this whole thing doesn't work, that means we've learned all the lessons to go then do it again and make it work even better.
Right.
Better.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's not even in my brain to.
I don't think about it. I never think about it.
How about your guys that are, you posted a picture in a story a couple of times here over the last couple of weeks of, it was you and some guys, you're in the ditch, muddy.
Yep.
It's late at night. The job wasn't it went way over, wasn't what you thought. How do you keep those guys, because they don't have the risk or reward that you do, right? They're making an hourly wage
Correct.
or salary, whatever. How do you keep those guys from burning out? How do you keep them motivated? Because that's what we struggle with, the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? You get someone that's passionate about it, but you work them like a dog, or they just work themselves like a dog.
Yep.
And they get to a point where it's like, man, I was passionate about this, but it's not fun anymore.
I'm burned out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky now. The guy that is working with me, that's usually my right-hand man on everything, he's worked for me before, and he came back, and he's got the same passion I have. I mean, this is all we talk about inside or at work, outside of work, and just trying to stay, the biggest thing for me is not getting upset when things go haywire, when it's out of my control, and keeping them, kind of composed. And, I'm here, you and I are sticking this one out together, so I'll get right down the trench with you, and we'll take turns doing this and that, and just being able to, show them you're willing to go through it too, and I'm not just going to go sit in the truck and wait for you to finish. I'll be down there and help you, whatever we got to do to get it done, because it's, if it falls on me too, if, this doesn't get done. I have to answer to my dad.
Yep.
How come you're not done?
Yep.
So I, just trying to stay motivated with him, and, whatever it takes, we can, work together to get it done.
Well, when people ask me, I had an interview with a potential project manager today, and he asked me, what are you looking for in an applicant, in a new employee, and someone that's going to run some of your projects? I always say passion.
Yep.
Before experience, before knowledge, before certifications or any of that, where you live, how much money do you want to make? I'm always talking about passion, because I think that's the thing that it was clear to me when I saw the picture of you covered in, I hope that was mud.
That was not
No,
mud.
that was
Oh,
not.
geez.
That was not mud.
That was sewer.
There is no way in the world you are doing that at 11 o'clock at night in the cold, covered in someone else's whatever that was.
Yep.
If you don't have passion.
Exactly.
I mean, to me, it is the most clear, and I think so many people hire for roles when the person's not passionate. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, Tracy, but I'm going to say it. I told my dad back right when I was starting this company, I said, Dad, it was actually before I started the company, because I was thinking about doing something a little bit different. I said, Dad, I don't care if I have to sell tampons. If I make $1 million a year, I'll sell tampons. I told him that. Swear. My brother-in-law was in the car. Looking back at that, it was the dumbest thing I ever said. Not because of the tampons. It was because I wasn't passionate about that. I started what I'm doing because I love it. I'm passionate about it. I tell these guys all the time, and it's the truth. At the end of the year, I don't care if we break even. I don't want to lose a bunch of money, obviously. Got to live. I don't care if we don't make the money. I'm having a blast. I love coming. Saturday, my wife and kids were out of town. I was here in the office.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love doing this. And so for me, it's the easiest thing to hire for is passion.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I think the rest comes with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have somebody passionate that shows up to work, wants to work, is willing to learn, no matter what their experience, knowledge level is, you can always learn and improve. And somebody that's happy to show up and be willing, you can't find somebody else better than that.
Yeah. Ben and Dylan were here also. I got to give them shout outs because they were here on Saturday. And I feel like if I don't say that, they're going to be mad. Oh. But I think they're obviously showing passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not making enough money to be in here on a Saturday. There's a lot of people here that have taken pay cuts literally in our office that have taken pay cuts to come here. A lot of it's the hype and the doing the fun thing and the new, we're going to build something crazy in an old stale industry. That's part of it. But a lot of it is we literally hired them to go do what they're passionate about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We didn't hire them to go try to squeeze them into some role that we could afford you for.
Right.
We hired people to do things. And that's why when you walk around, people are smiling.
Yes.
This is not some corporate thing where we're paying you to smile when there's a camera turned on.
Right.
I'm not paying Ben and Dylan more to come in here on a Saturday.
No.
They might get a bonus if they win the job they were working on,
right.
the estimate. But, I think it's, for me, anyone that's asking about how do we hire, a guy literally just messaged me right before I walked in here. He was like, man, I'm struggling. We're in this part of the country. We're in the Southeast. We're in this part of the country. A lot of people are lazy. How do I get people that want to work hard? And I'm like, I don't know. What's your business? What are you doing? Go find people that want to do that.
Yeah.
And if you can afford to pay them more than the guys that are competing with you, even better.
Right.
We can't afford to pay everyone more.
No.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like we're just filling our staff with people because we're paying them $5 more an hour.
Just to get them. No.
For me, passion is the thing. If you're an awesome human being and you're passionate, you fit with our company.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, experience is great.
Yep.
Some skills
Some
are awesome.
knowledge.
But all that stuff, if you have skills and you have experience, but you're not passionate and you're not a good human being, I've seen it work out.
Yeah.
Some of my biggest lessons in 2019, I brought some of my old boys that I, had come into the industry with.
Yep.
And a couple of them, just like you, I'm sure, they were loyal guys. It was easy for me to trust them.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. One of them didn't have passion, and the other one turned out to be not a great human being. So, I think if you're passionate and you're a good human being,
Yeah.
we will get you the rest. It's a great foundation
It
to be
is.
an awesome employee.
It is.
You
And
know.
I think that goes for many different industries as well. Just as a general, rule, you're passionate about it and you're a good person, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah, there's no shortage of opportunity out
No,
there.
not at all. And there's a lot of people that need, like you and I, different scales, but you need those passionate people.
Yeah.
To, fulfill what you want to try to do.
Yeah, we're sitting in bed last night watching the news, and there's bombs in Iran, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're in an election year, and people
Yep.
are freaked out about that, and the stock market's doing its thing. There is a plethora of opportunity out there.
Yes.
Like, if you can't win in today's business climate with the internet and social media and organic reach, like, if you can't win, you should not be running a business.
Correct.
There's just
No.
there's
Yeah.
no other way to, there's just so much opportunity. So talking about opportunity, where is Connor Holmen in 3 years? What are you doing? Are you trying to grow the business? Do you want to grow? Or
Yeah,
you
I think
having
we
fun?
do. We don't want to get crazy. We like keeping a small, tight-knit crew. But yeah, we do definitely want to grow. We want to expand. We're really looking to, we have a niche market that we like working in. And we've kind of tried out many different projects, but we found kind of what we like doing and enjoy doing the most. And we're going to try to kind of focus on that and grow into that and get a good, solid group of guys that, grow in that aspect.
Well, I got on one of my favorite platforms the other day, LinkedIn.
Yep.
And I saw that your stuff was outdated and you weren't super active. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to call him out because LinkedIn to me is the most powerful tool that we use today.
Okay.
We started, me, I started on Instagram.
Yep.
Because I knew I needed to get a small army of people, and I felt like that was the easiest way to go get passionate people. If they're looking at dozers on Instagram, they're going to want to run a dozer.
Yep.
So we did that. And then I'm like, oh crap, I actually need clients because now I have the people. I need clients, right? So we literally had in the first year, almost every single one of our opportunities came from LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah.
Business opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now we're actually even finding people and stealing people off LinkedIn from other companies. But to me, LinkedIn is the single most powerful tool for just brand awareness, building your brand awareness, getting in front of new clients. It's amazing some of the stuff that these guys are doing now that they're really good at. Tracy and her team are awesome at. Back then, when I first started, I was literally sending messages every night.
Yeah.
I'd grab a glass of wine. I would sit in front of the TV as a wife watching Bachelor, and I would
Yep.
send messages to people who I thought might have a need for our services.
Right.
And you send enough messages. I was sending like literally 300 messages a night to people. I would find the companies. I would find potential clients. I would go find the purchasing managers and buyers. I would send them messages. You do that enough, the odds are someone's going to have an opportunity.
Yeah.
You get enough opportunities, the odds are you're going to win one. You do that. Yeah, it is crazy how much opportunity is on LinkedIn. It's unreal.
I have never really got into it that much. I guess I never really looked at it
You
much.
gotta get
I
on
need
it.
to.
You gotta use it's, and I'm not on Facebook.
Right.
I think, there's a lot of people that spend time on Facebook, and I don't know how many of your potential clients would be on LinkedIn.
Right.
You
But
know,
why skip the opportunity?
it's
Exactly.
Yeah. Why? Especially for companies that want to grow. Like there's been a lot of people that are like, how do you grow from? Because it was crazy growth, right? We were 0 to 300 people in like 18 months.
Yeah.
How do you grow? And for me, the organic reach, when I say organic, it's non-paid ad. We haven't paid for any ads up till, I don't even know, a month ago, maybe. We didn't pay for anything.
Right.
We didn't pay to go get these customers.
No.
It is literally just sending the right messages, being in front of the right people at the right times. It's unbelievable with today's economic climate and how to get in front of people for so cheap or free.
For free.
Yeah.
Literally for free. Like the first thing I saw was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get Connor more active on LinkedIn.
I will make a point of doing that.
Because I mean, you post like
Yeah.
every day.
And honestly, like you can do the same stuff,
Right.
right? Because 2 different audiences most of the time. I mean, all the things that you're talking about, just do it. Don't waste the opportunity.
Jake Hubble, see if you were on LinkedIn, you would know this, but you're not.
I deserve that one.
Jake Hubble, our heavy fleet manager, he posted, it's been a few days ago, it was this week, or maybe Friday. He posted a picture of a John Deere 1050K.
Yep.
And he basically wrote this little caption. It was like, hey, we're working in a new area with a new dealer. We normally run D8s at this size class, and we didn't want to go with the cat dealer for XYZ reasons. I don't know. Probably cost if I know Jake.
Absolutely.
So he goes with a new 1050K, and he says, "Everyone, give me your thoughts and feedback." I'm gonna pull it up just so I'm telling you straight. He had like 600 people talking about, have you considered this? Have you considered ownership cost? It was unbelievable.
Wow.
And I just say that because I know how easy it is if you put out the right message and you put a picture or a clip that it doesn't have to be fancy stuff.
No.
I know we make our stuff kind of fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy
that's because
stuff.
Zach is solid. Zach is solid.
Zach is solid. But it's wild how much traction you can get on a platform like LinkedIn.
It's just crazy. I mean, and obviously we try to encourage everybody on staff to post. Right?
Yeah.
We want everybody in the company posting.
Yeah.
Obviously it helps us, helps company. But honestly, we wanted to help them too.
Yeah.
Right? I want Jake to be the foremost equipment guy in the country.
Right.
Right? Why not? And you know what? I want him to work for Turner Mining Group.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, it's just anytime you can get that opportunity to leverage a platform like that, why
Take
would
advantage
you
of
not?
it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I got to ask the question, and Ryan Neal and I talked a little bit about it. College or no college? If you can go back, you're 18 years old, you know now, or you know then what you know now, right? You've been running this business for 4 years. You've been grinding it out. You know how hard it is. What are you, as an 18-year-old kid, what are you doing? Are you going to college, or are you doing what you're doing?
I'm probably doing what I'm doing. And I went to college for 2 years. Went to the local community college.
Yep.
To the trade school part of it and learned to weld. And when I learned to weld, that kept me at the last excavating company I worked for. They'd keep me busy all winter long. And just because I went and learned to weld, that was more of a hands-on type of thing. I probably would do exactly what I did again if I had to do it all over.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gone for 4 years.
Well, I said on the last one with Ryan that I would have went to college. I'm going to say on this one, I would have skipped college. And I say that not because my mind's different than when I talk to Ryan, but I'm so back and forth because if I would have skipped college, I think I would be farther ahead in my career.
Right.
I think I'd had to give up the opportunity to meet the woman I met.
Yep.
I'd had to give up the opportunity to like make lifelong friendships and all those memories. But there's no doubt in my mind I would be farther ahead. I just truly believe that the years after college is where I really developed my craft and
Yes.
learned and, really figured out the things I needed to apply in business to go be successful. I didn't learn any of that in college.
No. And that's where, at that time I wanted to be an operator.
Yeah.
All the time. I wasn't going to go to school to be an operator.
Yeah.
That's why I did the welding to help, that's good to have for me. And then I worked for local excavating companies. Started small, went some bigger ones and worked my way up in the 4 years after high school.
Yeah.
And that's when, kind of changed and we had the opportunity to start the company, and that's where that came into play. But fresh out of high school, I just wanted to operate equipment all day.
How do you start that? Because I've had kids as young as 12 years old say, "Man, I love the stuff. I don't know how to get in the industry." What are the first steps if you go back early on, like you like equipment and trucks and all that? Like, how does someone that's, let's say, I don't know, 12, 13, 15, 16 years old, A lot of people don't hire kids that are younger than 18 for a
Yeah.
lot of reasons. How do you even get your foot in the door with someone that's going to hire you?
I started just doing landscaping.
Yeah.
I found a local landscaper that we knew. Friends of my dad's worked there, shoveling bark, doing patios, things like that. They had a couple little skid steers, and then that's when I learned to, start running the skid steer more.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, well, this is fun after a couple of years, but I want to do something more.
Yeah.
And then that's when go to excavating company, get hired there. I cleaned the shop, worked in the, pipe crew, labored, raked topsoil. And
Yeah.
then they'd shut down equipment and I'd jump on them while everyone was greasing and talking or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'd run the dozer back and forth for 5 minutes. Or
Yeah.
I'd say, hey, I can track this across the site to the low boy. And then from there, it kind of just stemmed. I mean, once you get your foot, show some passion for it.
Yeah.
And then nobody's just going to throw you in it right away.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Especially young,
Yeah.
but show some initiative.
Yeah.
And guys recognize it. I see it all the time with guys. They want to learn to run equipment. They want the opportunity, and if you have the passion and willingness to earn your way up into that machine, it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. It's just being in that environment.
Yeah.
You're never going to get the shot unless you're there, right? And we've got guys that are truck drivers, whatever, they want to jump in a dozer or an excavator. If you stay on site the longest, if you're the last one to leave site, you've got the best chance to track it somewhere.
Exactly.
It's no different than putting yourself in a room with the smartest, wealthiest, most experienced people, whatever. Like, you get in those rooms and you're there long enough, you're picking up little nuggets of stuff that someday you're going to, maybe not all the way there, but you're going to get closer there than you would have if you're in a room full of average people, average Joes. I truly, and I've said this in the past, people that want to get their foot in any kind of door, whatever the door is, banking, construction, mine, whatever, you've got to be in that environment. You got to hang out with the people that are doing it.
Yeah.
I look back, I was in some meetings this week, and I would stop because I do a lot of advice giving, whether it's good advice or not. I don't know. That's to be determined, but I give a lot of advice giving. It's just who I am. And I think back to, how am I in the position to be able to even give halfway decent advice about stuff we're doing, whether it's an estimate or proposal, equipment to use, whatever. Living in that environment for X number of years, 10, 11, 12 years now, and chewing on all the problems, experiencing all the things, people quitting on you, walking out. I mean, I could tell stories that we couldn't even air on here back in the day. We were telling the other night with Tracy, just crazy things. You wear all those battle scars long enough and you're around the people that are, living that stuff. You just start picking it up.
You do.
It takes a long time, though. It's crazy when, you see, it's not, I talk about young people that get in equipment and run it awesome, and they're like, oh yeah, make $100K a year as a 24-year-old guy operating big equipment. Those are the fairy tale stories.
Yeah.
Like, those are the 1% of guys that just happen to be in the right place, the right time.
Yes.
Happen to be super talented. The Holmen got sick. They jumped in. They slung dirt for a day, and it's like, holy crap, this kid's good. We're going to leave him in it.
Yep.
That's super rare. But you have to be in the environment to even get the shot to do it.
Yeah.
You got to start in a truck or a landscaping crew, skid steer, whatever it is. For some of these guys that think, at 16, 17, 18 years old, man, I'm going to not go to high school. I'm going to go work for an excavating company. They're going to magically open the door to a brand new 349. Right. I'm going to jump in it and make 100,000. This doesn't happen.
No,
that way.
It doesn't. It does not.
Same thing with running a business. It just you've got to taste it for a long time.
Yeah, it's your exposure to every different aspect of it that that's where you get your opportunities from.
I'm going to bet you couldn't have started at 22 without the kind of experience that you had and the kind of experience that your dad had. I'm going to bet there's no way you could. Yeah, couldn't have made it happen.
Not a chance in the world.
And 22 is super young. I mean, you look. Of course, I can't grow any facial hair. You've got awesome beard. You look a lot older than 22. It's crazy how young that you started.
Yeah,
and you are now. I bet the first 4 years. I bet your next 4 years look 180 degrees
Yeah,
different,
absolutely.
a different path than the last 4
Completely
years.
different than where we started.
Yeah.
In a big way. I mean, just complete 180.
Yeah.
And it's something new every year, every day, every project. Just, right from the get-go, you think, oh, things are clicking along. I think I got this covered. And, 6 months into it, and here comes this, and no, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it takes you a while to really find, to get to know everything, in a sense, and be comfortable with that role. And things change all the time.
Yeah.
Companies change, projects change. That's where, we've kind of changed our direction. Like you said, for the next 4 years, we found that little niche market that we like working in. And we never, from the get-go, thought that's what we were going to be, the avenue we'd be in 6 years.
Yeah.
It's just a complete 180.
Well, I think that's business owners in general, and especially young business owners. I'm a young business owner. We've been in executive meetings the last 2 days here talking about plans for 2020. And someone right before you walked in was out in the office area and made a comment. They were like, yeah, this employee, he wants to know what the plan is for him. And I looked around and I said, guys, I don't even have a plan for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it kind of in a joking way, but especially as the owner or a guy running a bit, plans change.
Everything changes.
You can plan it all out. You can have sales goals for the year. You can have a marketing plan. You can have an operations plan, whatever. You have to adjust on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff breaks.
Stuff breaks. You lose jobs. Clients fire you. That affects the whole plan.
Yep.
And the unforeseen is the most, I guess, that's what affects things the most for us, the unforeseen. You never know what's going to happen.
What's been your biggest surprise?
Oh, boy. People quitting, I think, was one of the biggest ones.
Okay. And are these like your boys?
Yeah.
Or is this like,
Yep.
okay.
That was probably one of the bigger ones. I think another...
And did that like leave you in a spot? Like how
Not necessarily, but, we had different ideas, and, from the get-go, when we first started, we thought it was just going to be great, and things change, and we never thought it was going to split, but it did. And that kind of, I guess we kind of knew something like that was coming, but you never really think that's going to, go through in a sense.
Is there any coming back for those guys? I don't know if you know the story behind Travis Brown.
I don't. I know you had to fire him.
Yeah, and he was. We didn't grow up together, but
Right.
He'd worked for me for a long time, and we were like he was one of the guys, one of my favorites, and still is. And we kind of had a tough breakup and didn't talk for 2 years, whatever it was. When I called him after I started this, and I was like, hey, man, would love to grab lunch. He literally said as we sat down to drink a beer, he's like, I don't know whether to hit you right in the mouth or hug you, or I think he maybe said kiss you on the mouth or something like that.
that sounds like ours.
But to me, it was a redemption thing for him and for me as kind of like a manager, because I was a young manager, and I think you learn things, especially management styles. My management styles have changed a whole lot.
Yes.
Is some of those people that left you, or you had to fire them or whatever, and it was a surprise, like is there like a coming back moment, whether it just be, we're going to be friends again, we're going to be boys again, or you're actually going to come back to work for me?
Yeah, actually, the guy that works for me right now, he was one of the first guys to work for me.
Really?
Yeah, right from the get-go, right when we started out first month. And he quit. I don't remember how far into it. And we didn't talk for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then we kind of reconnected. And he just came back he's been back to work with me now for about 8-9 months.
Yeah.
After
Awesome.
2 years from not working together, talking much at all. And now he's my right-hand guy.
Better than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes the second time around, things were different.
Yeah.
It's a different understanding. I learned from it. I learned how to, manage and work with people better. And he learned, what I want and expect out of, his role. And we kind of, after the first time, round 2, it's been nothing but positive.
Yeah.
It worked out a lot better, and it's still going great.
There's been, this has probably been the opposite of the first week of the year I thought we would have. It's been a really tough week. It's been a bad week. We've got some people that are no longer on the team that were just a few days ago.
Right.
And so I've been posting a lot over the last few days about kind of, a comeback story, like a redemption.
Yeah.
People that go through, 'cause we've got a lot of folks that have screwed up. Mm-hmm. We all screw up.
Everybody
some
does.
people, some people screw up in different ways, and doesn't mean they're a bad human being.
No.
It doesn't mean that you can never be successful or you can never work for the company again. But it's funny that you say what you did, because I truly believe some people, it takes getting to that place, whether it's rock bottom or whatever it is. It takes being shut out and looking from the outside in to think, okay, what do I need to do to get my life together to then go write the comeback story? Because everybody's got it in them.
Yeah.
Every single person can be successful. I'm not special. Thomas is not special. Tracy's not special. Tracy's pretty special. But Thomas and I for sure aren't special.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Anybody can go do anything they want. Sometimes it's just a mental shift.
It is.
And I've seen people that I know in my heart are successful. Like it's weird. It's almost like I see them in 5 years.
Right.
And I know they're going to get there.
And they have the potential.
They've got it in them. They just don't see it in them.
Right.
Or they're not living it.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. But I truly think everyone can and should come back from whatever crap they're dealing with
Absolutely.
way stronger. Mm-hmm. And Travis, he walks around the office now. He kind of like struts around, and he's the guy.
Video.
Oh,
big sexy brown bear.
Yeah.
His redemption story is unreal for me. No one else really knows it because they didn't deal with him before. Ryan Bailey did. But we've got project managers that have really screwed up, like shouldn't be with us, and they are way better for it.
Yeah.
After going through it. And I think really a part of it, and I got lit up on LinkedIn this week by a bunch of people when I posted that, sort of like, well, the first step in the whole process is admitting you have a problem. And I agree. I'm like, we had a guy that screwed up, and he went above and beyond to take the blame.
Right.
He told the whole crew, he told the client, he told everybody. He wore it like a badge of honor. He's like, you know what? If I can screw up this bad and come back, I'm going to show you how good I can really be.
Right.
I'm going to show you now what I can do. And it's unbelievable what he's done this year. But some people, I don't know if they can't make the mental shift or what, they just don't come back.
Right.
And it kills me, especially when they're young, talented guys. They can't make the mental shift, and you never hear from them again.
And it's the mental game, I think, all the way around for every position in, the company itself. Everything's a mental game.
Yeah.
And it's just knowing when your potential you can really put it to work.
Yeah.
And excel for everybody.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Thomas, what questions do you have from the audience?
We got a couple good ones. So you mentioned kind of the age thing with regards to you and maybe some older folks on the crew. We got some questions around the age thing with regards to either clients and kind of how you've handled that.
Yep.
Or even just on social, right? Because there's a lot of folks who do know kind of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you got a lot of skeptics just because you're 26.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that.
I think I haven't run into it a lot with clients.
The beard has got to help.
Yeah, I was going to say, he looks so legit in
This
person.
has only been a
it's
year.
ridiculous.
He could play on ZZ Top.
Yeah, exactly.
I've like I said, not a lot with clients necessarily, but I've had it with different, I'll say inspectors
Okay, here we go.
that they didn't think I knew enough to be in that position, and chances are I didn't know a ton.
Yeah.
But I think the age was a big thing, and I think another area where that kind of came into full circle was trying to get equipment. I think that was
talk about
tough
that.
one for us, was just getting filling out credit apps and getting, our line of credit at the local dealer. And that covered a month rental on an excavator and a dump truck. And that doesn't do me much good.
No.
When you're not getting
happen.
paid in a month from your clients, unless
No.
your clients are phenomenal. If so, I want some of them.
Me too.
They're not paying in 30 days.
No, not at all. And that's kind of been the biggest thing. 4 years later, it's better. But
Okay.
being 22 years old, and I went in and I said, hey, I need a 349 and an off-road truck. And
They laugh.
they laughed. And it ended up worked out, but it wasn't just, here you go, we'll drop it off. And then, the more equipment, the more bills. And it's hard. It was hard at 22 to be able to get what I needed. Same with just buying material, pipe, everything. That was the biggest challenge, I think, with age, more so than having to deal with clients or anything like that.
Love that.
I'm going to be honest. Half the reason why we are as, and it's going to sound crazy, but half the reason why we are as transparent and vocal and out there with all of our posting and all of our marketing and all of the media stuff we're doing is because I know if I was some dude that just kind of lived in the shadows as a business owner, especially a 30-year-old business owner, I wouldn't get half the people to do business with us.
Right.
Whether it be on the vendor side, equipment, fuel, whatever, or on the client side.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why we've had so much traction is half the people don't even know what I look like. They don't know that I look 18 or 19 years old. I'll never forget. We had a client literally tell us we were dollar for dollar with the other guy on a pretty good sized contract, and the client literally said, "Yeah, our board has seen pictures of you, and you're too young, so we're going with these other folks." And I remember that conversation. It's tough to get started. I think, for me, that's one of the reasons why we've leveraged all the cool stuff we're doing.
Yep.
Young people can win.
Oh, absolutely.
Young people can be, it's not just Kobe and LeBron that get to come out of high school and be successful.
Right.
There are people that can do it. It takes a lot more work. It takes a lot more passion, a lot more patience.
Yes.
Young people should win.
Yeah.
I think there is so much, we have so much time on our side. I can learn all these mistakes through my failures and restart at 45 years old. That's 15 years from now, by the way.
Right.
I can restart in 15 years and still have my whole life to go make it happen. That's the best part about it.
Yes.
I love when I think about failing and restarting. I could do that 8 or 9 times, 10 times, something like that. I don't know how many times you can fail and restart before the banks finally just say, no,
You're done.
you're probably not cut out for it. But seriously, I mean, it is, I love that you say the equipment thing, because a lot of people, when they talk about starting a business in the dirt space or in the landscaping space or really in any space, manufacturing, there are startup costs you got to go consider. And you cannot just walk into the bank and get a line of credit.
No.
You cannot walk into a cat dealer and get a line of credit.
No.
And even
Not
if
at all.
you can't, let's say you could. Let's say you walk into cat dealer and they say, okay, we're going to rent you a 349 and 3 off-road haul trucks. The rent package on that's, let's call it $75,000 a month.
Yeah.
$75,000 a month, which is more than most people make a year.
Yeah.
That's due in 30 days, by the way. So cat wants paid in 30 days. And if they don't, they're going to come pick it up. Your client's paying you, if you're lucky, in 55 to 75 days.
Yeah.
We have clients that are way past that. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there.
Story.
That will ruin
Same
the rest
boat.
of my evening. So what do you do from day 30 to day 65 when you haven't been paid yet and cat needs their money? I mean, it's a real thing.
It is. And, they worked with us some. They knew the situation at hand. Our client, we were lucky. I think that's one of the biggest reasons we were able to get going, get our foot in the ground, was our clients knew where we were. And they kind of helped us out on that.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, we've had it where, 3 years into it, we can't come up with that money all of a sudden to pay those bills. We are, there's clients we're 60, 80, 90 days out on getting paid.
Yep.
And the work's done, and we paid all our other, material bills, this and that, and
Payroll.
workers' comp, insurance, everything else that doesn't stop.
You're actually one of those contractors that pays insurance and workers' comp.
I love that, by the way. No, but dude, he's a legit dude.
It's a real, like,
is.
I know people that don't pay workers' comp and they don't pay their insurance. They just hope and pray something doesn't go wrong.
Yeah. And
those are the people that you bid against.
yes,
You know how it goes.
That's the scary part.
Yeah. You're doing it by the book, and there's people out there that aren't.
And they're going to try to cut that cost. And that's a big thing, and it's real. And, you know, the cash flow's king. That's what my dad always says. Cash flow is king.
Yeah.
And if you need the cash in the bank, but you know, we pay our bills, and you say, we're supposed to have this check in 30 days, and we're on 3 months.
Yeah.
We're still not paid. And now we're trying to float all the other bills.
Gant, you just met him a few minutes ago, or I guess it's been an hour now. He always says cash is more important than oxygen. And when he first said it, I'm like, well, you can't live without oxygen. He said, no, cash can buy oxygen. Cash is more important than oxygen. But it's so true. So many people don't get the cash flow thing right. I mean, it's hard to understand until you live through it, and payroll is due, and you're like, holy crap. I'm looking at my account, and maybe I have a line of credit, whatever, but I'm looking at my account, and I don't have the money to pay payroll. You know, it's a real thing.
It happens, I mean, and you could be rolling right along, and all of a sudden something happens, and flip the switch, and you thought everything was great, and you know the accounts were good, and it's not.
Well, and you know enough about estimating and bidding projects and all that. You can be making really good money and not have cash to pay payroll.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, I didn't get paid. This company must be going under. Sometimes that's the case, right? I mean, it's like, but I mean, I know what we've been through. Like, you can make really good money and have it all sitting out there in receivables.
Yes.
And have zero cash to pay anybody.
Yes.
And your dealers are wondering where the cash is. And you're, you know, it's really wild. And I think, you know, for all the young people out there, you don't learn, college doesn't teach you that.
No, it's real life experience.
High school doesn't teach you that. You know, mom and dad don't teach you that. It is living it, breathing it, tasting it. It's the real deal.
That's where you learn it.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn from having those situations.
Yeah.
And
I would tell young people that actually, you know, want to go, if you haven't scared them off yet with all the stories about how hard it is, because it's harder. Our stories do it no justice. Right?
Yeah.
It's way harder than anyone can make it sound. But if you're not scared off by that yet, I think you need to go live in the same room as someone that's doing it. You know, because you're gonna see all the stuff. Like, I think about, you know, Patton and Dylan and some of our young guys around the office. Like, they get to live it, see it, taste it.
Yeah, they get a different perspective.
They get a real different perspective.
Oh yeah.
When you're in a dozer all day working for the man,
Yeah.
you know, I'm doing air quotes for people that are listening. You know, when you're working for the man and he's in, I'm in, you know, Vans in a button up, whatever, like, you don't get to experience what all goes into that.
Right.
Like when your boss doesn't have time to talk to you about your problems that you got on site or with your girlfriend, he's got some real problems.
Yeah.
He's got some real problems. He's not trying to be a jerk.
No.
He's trying to make payroll.
Yeah. So you can get paid.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, I think, that goes on behind the scenes that, you know, your average employee does not understand. And they don't get to, you know, see that side of the company.
Yeah.
And that's what really keeps everything moving.
Yeah.
And it's very unforeseen by a lot of, you know, 99% of the company.
Yeah. And I love what you do by posting, because you're actually in it. Like, when you were covered in the stuff you were covered in, like, I want to go roll around on site and get dirty just to post a Connor Holmen picture.
No, but it's real, right?
But I would be in dirt or rock.
That's amazing.
That's
amazing. Bro. We had a question about the dirtiest job, but I think we now clearly have hit that one.
Was the dirtiest job.
So Keaton talked to you a little bit about kind of what you see the next 4 years, more like from a positive perspective. You did just touch on like kind of biggest challenge you're facing now. Is there something on the horizon where you're like, man, that's the landmine I have got to avoid?
I think having the right people, which is a very generic statement, but
I think this is an awesome answer.
We're small. I mean, it's me and one guy, and building that was like I said, building that crew over the next 4 years of guys like us that have that passion. That's what I want to focus on. And I don't want to, I think right from the get-go, we tried to do too much too fast, and that kind of blew up on it. So I'd like to go small, go slow, and not have you hire wrong people all the time. But if we can kind of eliminate that risk by going slow and really making sure it's the right fit from the get-go instead of just going off the fly saying, hey, that's, I think, what we want to avoid.
So how are you evaluating for that? Because I love that. I mean, it's literally the best answer to the question, right? I mean, if anybody wants to do anything more than what they're doing right now, they're going to need more people to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's facts. And businesses are only as good as their people.
Yep.
So, like, how are you even thinking about evaluating for, I mean, it could literally be the next hire, but I mean, it's probably the hire after that and the hire after that. So, like, you know, what are you thinking about when making that decision?
I think a lot about how I see them interact with our, guys right now. The biggest thing is how they act around people. I try to sit back and watch them, and with just having one other guy, if I can see those two work together and I can see how they interact and, see his work ethic, see if he is passionate about it, see if he, can take constructive criticism, willing to listen, open to learn. That's the biggest thing we're looking for. So, get some younger guys that want to learn.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a client this morning, and it was my daily ball kicking that I've talked about in the past. And, we've had a lot of clients this year, and I think they're the only one who we've, truly failed.
Yep.
And it's not even failed. We're halfway through the contract. But when we look at, when I have the conversation and I hear what they have to say, and I reflect on all the other lessons I've learned in 2019 and really before, at the center of all of those lessons are people. Mm-hmm. It's not, the machine didn't do what we thought it was going to do. It's not that the material wasn't, every once in a while, that's the thing. It's a thing we can easily fix. Almost every single one of our problems and almost every single one of my learning experiences as a young business owner and leader, manager of people, is people.
Yeah.
That's why I say good human beings, because that generally fixes that.
Yes, it does.
It generally fixes that.
Yep.
If you can find a good human being that also happens to have some awesome experience, it generally fixes it. But there is nothing more frustrating than landing an awesome contract at a price that should make you great money and allow the company to go grow off that profit.
Yep.
And you put someone there that's not the great human being or not the right fit.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. It's a huge thing.
What else you got, Thomas?
So I got a fun kind of inside baseball one. So obviously, Connor, Keaton and Turner Mining Group pretty well.
Yep.
What is your favorite Turner Mining Group moment?
Oh, my favorite Turner Mining Group moment. I'm going to have to say, I don't know. For me personally?
Yeah.
Going up to see Tim.
Awesome.
He's a good one.
Talk more about this.
Well,
the boat. I heard there was a boat problem or something.
We had a boat problem. No, I went up. I had a couple days off, and I went up and showed up at Tim's apartment, and I stayed with him and just went to work and rode around. Rode around on a Saturday. He let me run some equipment, took me around the job site, and just kind of talked, and I kind of just watched him operate, watch him run a crew. And that was very insightful for me. That's what I want. I want to learn better how to manage people.
Sure.
And being in a different environment for me was the big thing. So that was a lot of fun.
And that's a good sized crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you up there when they were double shift, or was that
nope,
single
they got
crew?
rained out. One of the shifts got rained out.
Oh, yeah.
So they were just running one crew.
Did you run the 750?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a beast.
Yep. Tim yelled at me on the radio.
Yeah. The bucket, it's funny in pictures. The bucket looks a whole lot different when it's hanging over the bed of a truck than it does in pictures.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's unreal.
It's wild.
Yeah. But no, that was funny. He let me kind of just threw me in the excavator dozer for a little bit, and then we went and had dinner and went.
He's a good dude.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's
Tim's
awesome.
legit.
He's one of those people that you get lucky. Like a lot of times it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah.
We get lucky with some hires every once in a while, and he's just a dude that happened to be a great human being, happened to have awesome experience, happens to have a way bigger personality than I ever realized. The first picture,
yes.
I don't know. Of course, you spent a whole night with him, so you've probably several nights. The first picture I ever saw of Tim, he was naked. So, and that was on social media, by the way. Dude is just a different kind of breed of animal. He's wild.
He's a good dude.
He's awesome.
Last time he stopped by my house to visit on his way up north, and he parked in my girlfriend's parking spot. So she had to drive up the backyard to unload all the groceries. And then here comes Tim right up the kitchen stairs, and he's out there unloading all my groceries, putting them away in my kitchen. And he's awesome. Just a good, honest, passionate dude.
He's awesome. And it's crazy. There are people out there that exist like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the hope for business owners in general and HR managers in general and recruiters. Like,
yes,
there are good people that exist.
Yes.
There's a lot of folks that say there's a labor shortage and good people are hard to find. Like, I tend to agree with you. Good people are hard to find.
Yep.
But when you're looking for solid human beings, you just sometimes get lucky. And we got lucky with Tim.
Yeah.
He's
a good guy.
Awesome. Well, we've gone through all the questions, Connor. It has been super awesome to have you on.
It's been fun. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Been super killer. So
Thanks
thank you
so
very
much,
much.
bro.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast. This is a new thing for us, so leave a review, give us your thoughts, and if you haven't already, tell a friend.